But underneath all this, the WRV was a brilliant car. I think it handles better than the legendary EcoSport. Mind you, the Honda's hybrid is significantly better than the one offered in the Toyota and Suzuki, because Honda's hybrid is a 4-cylinder engine compared to the 3-cylinder in the Grand Vitara and Hyryder. They could have done a lot better even if they brought the 1.5 turbo which they have in the Civic SI abroad. Someone who's paying 17 lakhs for a Creta or Verna would not like to shift his own gears. I mean, he would need an automatic, and people want the good efficiency of a diesel engine, which Honda could not manage. Hello and welcome to Bytecast. Today we're gonna talk about a brand which was once very close to the hearts of Indians, Honda. If you remember the 2000s, you know what I'm talking about. Honda redefined what engineering and driving dynamics meant for the Indian audience. You remember those VTEC engines, right? But the company had been on a downfall since then. Back then they had a clear ladder. If you owned a Honda City, you could upgrade to the Civic, and if you owned a Civic, you could have upgraded to the Accord. But now, Honda City, which was once their entry-level sedan, is now their flagship model. I mean, you could call the Elevate flagship, but Honda City Hybrid is more expensive, so yeah, that is a flagship in a sense. And all of the Honda models combined can't even compete with single model sales from brands like Hyundai, Tata, or Maruti Suzuki. So, what went wrong? How did a premium aspirational brand fall so far behind because of its slow management and poor product planning? तो आज हम इसी टॉपिक पे बकचोदी करेंगे. Where do I start? Let us start with their biggest red flag, which was their slow management. Honda India's top leadership has always been kind of sluggish in reading the market and making the right decisions at the right times. Let's take compact SUV segment for example. Hyundai Creta launched in 2015 and it was a masterstroke from Hyundai. Its sales figures exploded, and it was clear that the Indians were loving the SUV vibe, the high riding stance, the high ground clearance, and the big car feel. So what did Honda do? They waited, and 8 years after that they launched the Elevate. And the Elevate wasn't even a full competitor to Creta because it did not have the features or the engine gearbox options which the Creta offered. Now coming to the diesel engine, which even there Honda was slow to react. Honda launched the Honda City Diesel in 2014, which was 7 years after Maruti Suzuki launched the Swift Diesel, and the 2010s were dominated significantly by diesel engines. And Honda's diesel engine was decently punchy and frugal. It gave good efficiency figures, but it did not have the refinement which the Koreans offered. It was nothing like Honda. I mean, Honda's petrol engines were ultra refined, but this thing was, I mean, you couldn't call it refined. At a time when cars like Creta and Verna were rocking punchy and smooth diesel engines, also with an option of an automatic gearbox, Honda showed up with a product that felt unfinished and it only had a manual. And here's the worst part, they put this engine in the city. I mean, this engine was fine for an Amaze or a Jazz, but for city it did not cut it. That was the story of their diesel engines. Now we shall discuss the mistakes Honda had done in their cars one by one. I'll come to their biggest missed opportunity first, which was the Honda WRV. It was Honda's attempt at the subcompact SUV segment, which was the sub 4 meter SUV segment. I mean, from front it looked fine. I mean, it had butch SUV looks. It looked like a hatchback, which it was. I mean, it was based on the Jazz nonetheless. But when the competitors were offering cars like Brezza and EcoSport, which looked the part, I mean, they looked like proper SUVs, even though they aren't. I mean, they are crossovers at the end of the day. They can't do all the rough-roading and stuff. But they gave the big car feel which Indians so loved. But underneath all this, the WRV was a brilliant car. I have driven this car, and let me tell you, I think it handles better than the legendary EcoSport. It cornered like it was going on rails. I think it could be attributed to the Jazz platform, which was phenomenal to begin with. So where did this car go wrong? Let me explain. For starters, it had a terrible backseat. The backseat did not have adjustable headrests, a rear center armrest, or rear AC vents, which was a norm in that segment back in the day. And now even hatchbacks come with these features, but the WRV did not have these. मेरा स्कूल का बैक बेंच इससे ज़्यादा कंफर्टेबल होता था. I mean, we are backbenchers of course. So anyone who visits the showroom and sits in this car would instantly notice that its backseat is terrible, which it was such a huge turn-off. I know why Honda might have done it. I think they might have done it because they thought it might cannibalize Honda City's sales. But they did not realize one thing. The sedan segment was already dying, but there was this compact SUV segment which was on a roll. It was growing a lot around 2015. This kind of defensive thinking, that is handicapping one product to protect another product, killed their only shot which they had at the sub-4-meter SUV segment. Now let us talk about its engines. The diesel engine was fine. I mean, it was decently punchy. It did not have the high revving nature or raw punch like the EcoSport or Creta. It was fine in WRV, but the petrol engine was an abomination. They decided to pair it with the weak 1.2 iVTEC engine, and it didn't even have an automatic gearbox. This was a missed opportunity because even though the last decade was diesel dominated, there was a phase post BS6 where petrol automatic SUVs were gaining popularity. The Venue TCT, the Brezza Automatic were selling really well post BS6 because of their convenient automatic gearbox. They could have launched the WRV with the 1.5 iVTEC engine and the CVT automatic they had in the city. They had this engine and gearbox right in front of their eyes, but they were too blind to see. And now the segment is booming. The Brezza, the Venue and the Nexon all sell over 10,000 units a month, which combined all the products of Honda don't do. They could have even launched the next generation WRV which they launched in the Southeast Asian markets like Indonesia and all. That would have been better bet than the Elevate. Let me explain why. The segment in which Elevate entered was not really petrol dominated segment. It had diesels from Creta and Seltos and hybrids from Maruti Suzuki Grand Vitara and Toyota Hyryder. The Creta sells 50% diesel, so Elevate without a diesel just wouldn't do the numbers which the Creta would do. But the sub-4-meter SUV segment is a different ballgame. It is totally petrol dominated. Skoda understood this point and they launched the Kailak, which is doing 5,000 units a month compared to the Elevate, which I think last month it did 900 units. So yeah, that WRV would have done a lot better than what Elevate is doing now. So this is the story of Honda WRV. It was a massive missed opportunity by Honda. Now coming to their next car, I think we'll discuss the 4th gen Honda City and BRV together. These two cars had so much potential and yet Honda managed to fumble. Don't get me wrong, the 1.5 iVTEC engine is very good. It is smooth and refined and it had decent power. But the diesel, it just did not cut it. As I told you, the Creta and Verna's diesels were phenomenally more refined, and they also had the option of diesel automatic, which Honda City and BRV both lacked, which was a huge missed opportunity in 2010s where diesel engines were on a roll. Someone who's paying 17 lakhs for a Creta or Verna would not like to shift his own gears. I mean, he would need an automatic, and people want the good efficiency of a diesel engine, which Honda could not manage. And the BRV, it looked like an MPV. They could have launched the HRV instead of the BRV with a decent diesel automatic. That would have done phenomenal numbers like the Creta. Next, we're gonna talk about the Civic and CRV. The Civic was a dream car for Indians back in the 2000s, and they brought it back around 2017, I guess. The car looked gorgeous with its low slung stance and it handled phenomenally, but it got the wrong engines. They brought the 1.8 naturally aspirated engine and they mated it with a CVT gearbox, which felt more lazy than lively. They also gave it a 1.6 liter diesel engine, but it lacked an automatic, which its competitors like the Octavia had. At the price where Civic was positioned, people wanted effortless power and the convenient automatic gearbox. They could have done a lot better even if they brought the 1.5 turbo, which they have in the Civic Si abroad, because the torque from turbo engines would significantly reduce the rubber band effect of the CVT gearboxes. We all know how the magnet CVT drives, right? It doesn't feel like those naturally aspirated CVTs at all. But no, Honda stuck with the old school engines and completely ruined the Civic. Same with the CRV. They wanted to take on the Fortuner and the Kodiaq. The diesel had an automatic, but it was still the 1.6 liter. And I mean, when Fortuner and Endeavours were like rocking 3000cc diesel engines, I mean, there is no competition here. So that was the story of the Civic and CRV. Next, we can talk about the Brio and Amaze. The Amaze was a decent car for its segment, but Honda did not upgrade the engine from 2010. They still stuck to the SOHC layout, whereas the competition from Maruti had shifted to DOHC long back. The engines, the 1.2 naturally aspirated engines from Maruti were far better than what Honda offered with their 1.2 iVTEC. I mean, you can't even call it a Honda. It does not feel like a VTEC engine. And then we had the Brio, which was crammed at the back. I mean, the Swift had decent space at the back, but the Brio was terribly cramped. So that was another lost opportunity. Next, we can talk about their hybrids. Now, this one genuinely frustrates me. Toyota and Maruti went all in with their hybrids. They localized its production completely, and they brought the Grand Vitara and Hyrider at competitive pricing, and they started selling like crazy. But what did Honda do? They imported the engine in the Honda City Hybrid and priced it so high. Mind you, the Honda's hybrid is significantly better than the one offered in the Toyota and Suzuki, because Honda's hybrid is a 4-cylinder engine, Atkinson cycle. Both are Atkinson cycle, but compared to the 3-cylinder in the Grand Vitara and Hyrider, this feels so much better. This feels so much more refined and punchy. If only they could have localized it, they would have had a winner on their hands. And what did they do with the Elevate? They did not even give it the hybrid engine. They just left it. So yeah, that was another missed opportunity by Honda. So once again, good technology but poor planning. Now let us talk about the 5th gen Honda City. They again stuck to their gun by giving it the same naturally aspirated 1.5 iVTEC engine when they have the 1 liter 3-cylinder turbo in the Indonesian market. That would have felt lot more punchy because of the turbo mid-range, and paired to the CVT it would have felt so much better. Next, let us come to the Elevate. The Elevate is a decent product, but as I said, it lacked the hybrid, and they haven't even given it the engine start-stop feature, which could have given a lot better ARAI numbers. I mean, its ARAI numbers are very bad compared to the Creta, so that's where the Elevate fumbled. So this is the Honda story. Let's wrap it up, guys. Look, Honda isn't dead yet. They are fighting back. The Elevate is a step in the right direction. But if Honda wants to stay relevant in India, they need to localize the hybrids. They need to bring strong turbo petrol engines, because we as Indian car buyers have moved from cost conscious to value conscious. We love cars which give us value. And what do you guys think is the Honda's biggest blunder in last 10 years? Drop your thoughts in comments. I'd like to hear your take. And please consider subscribing, because I want to buy a Porsche Carrera one day. Thank you.